Hey guys, welcome to the Story Nest, where every story hides a shadow, and every shadow tells the truth. If you love dark, twisted tales that chill your spine, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell so you never miss a story. There was a house that didn't just creak or whisper or sigh like the others it breathed. Nestled at the edge of Renmore Forest, far from any paved roads or modern infrastructure, the house stood like a forgotten relic from a time before logic replaced fear, when people still believed in things with no names. The Renmore House, as it was known in town, had a reputation carved into the bones of the village's memory. Children weren't allowed near it. Elders wouldn't even say its name after dark. Those who dared explore it for thrill or foolish dares never stayed more than a night, and most returned a little quieter, a little changed. Mia and her younger brother Jay, both in their late 20s and struggling in the city, had inherited the property from an uncle they'd never heard of, one Charles Wren, supposedly their mother's cousin twice removed. They'd laughed when the lawyer read the will, imagining cracked windows, a rotting porch, and maybe a few old antiques they could pawn. Broke and curious, they drove hours out to the property, the paved roads turning to gravel, the gravel to dirt, and finally to weeds before the house came into view. It stood with dignity, not decay. The paint had peeled, sure, but the wood remained strong, the stone foundation solid. Vines crawled over the sides like veins, and the windows reflected the trees in a way that felt too perfect, like as watching in still silence. Mia felt at first an unease, a whisper of something beneath her skin as she stepped onto the porch. Jay, always the jokester, laughed it off, pounding on the door like they were arriving at a party. The door creaked open before they touched the handle. No wind, no signs of life, just invitation. Inside, it was dustless, no cobwebs, no musty scent. The fireplace looked recently used, a faint warmth still radiating from the bricks. The furniture wasn't covered, but arranged as if someone had just stepped out for groceries. Creepy chic, Jay quipped, running his hand along a velvet couch. But Mia was silent, staring at a photo above the fireplace. It was of two children, a boy and a girl wearing clothes from the 1980s. The girl had Mia's exact eyes, and the boy's smile was undeniably Jay's. She didn't say a word. Maybe it was a coincidence, maybe they were relatives. But then she noticed the calendar on the side table. August 1983, the year they were born. Jay shrugged it off, too eager to explore the place, convinced they'd hit some jackpot. Imagine turning this into a bed and breakfast, he said, snapping pictures with his phone that curiously disappeared from his gallery moments later. Mia explored upstairs while Jay checked the kitchen. The bedrooms were oddly familiar, same layout as their childhood home, down to the color of the wallpaper. She opened a drawer and found a journal, blank, except the final page, which simply read, "Don't trust what you see, the house remembers." She froze. A distant scream echoed from downstairs, Jay yelling, "You gotta see this." In the kitchen, he'd found something behind the old pantry wall. A gap, then a narrow spiral staircase winding downward. They should have left then. Called someone. Anyone. But curiosity won, as it always does. Jay led the way with a flashlight. The air turned colder with every step, heavier. The staircase led to a replica, an exact copy of the house above, but aged. The furniture was rotten, photos faded, and a layer of dust coated everything, but the layout identical. In the living room, they found another photo of them, again asleep, this time older. "Is this a prank?" Jay asked, voice cracking. But Mia was silent. She could feel it. The house was alive, watching, waiting. She grabbed his arm. "We need to go." But when they turned to go back up the stairs, the door was bricked shut. No staircase, just cold stone. They were trapped. That's when the whispers began, not in the air, but in their minds. Voices that sounded like them, finishing their sentences, mocking their thoughts. The house didn't just remember. It fed. Days passed, or hours. Time blurred. They found food in the underground kitchen, fresh fruit, oddly modern packaging, though none of the brands they recognized. The more they explored, the deeper the replica seemed to go. Beneath the basement, another level, then another. Like, the house had roots stretching downward into madness. In one room, they found tapes, VHS recordings of their lives, from birthdays they didn't remember to dreams they never told anyone. "This isn't a house," Mia whispered. "It's a prison made of memories." Jay didn't respond, his eyes locked onto a screen showing their future, or some version of it, him, old, alone, mumbling to himself in the same dusty room. "We die here," he said quietly. "We're already dead here." But Mia wasn't giving in. She began to fight it, to scream back at the voices, to resist the pull of the dreams the house tried to feed her. One night, in the reflection of a broken mirror, she saw a version of herself older, free. That was the key. The house didn't want them to leave because they were its anchors, its batteries. If they forgot who they were, the house would consume their identities and live through them. But if they remembered, truly remembered, the house would weaken. She began to recall moments from their childhood, songs their mother sang, the smell of their father's cologne, the laughter of bike rides and scraped knees. With every memory spoken aloud, the house cracked. Jay followed, though weaker. He had spent longer staring into the fake lives, the easy lies the house fed him. They began to destroy the tapes, the photographs, the memories not theirs. Screams erupted from the walls. The rooms shifted, collapsed. In the final stretch, they found a window, one they hadn't noticed before. Mia smashed it open with a chair, and they crawled out into sunlight, real sunlight, birds chirping, cold air, alive. But the world wasn't the same. The town had changed, cleaner, stranger. Cars were sleek and hovered slightly above the roads. Drones flew overhead. A nearby digital billboard flashed the year 2078. They'd been gone for 50 years. Their home was gone, replaced by a glass apartment complex. No one remembered them. No records, no family. The world had moved on, and there were relics of a time erased. They stayed together, drifting from town to town, too scared to sleep in any place for more than a few nights. Eventually, they bought a small cottage, far from the city, simple, quiet, but the past isn't easily buried. One night, Mia noticed a crack in the wall, identical to the one in Renmore House. Then came the photo on the mantle, a picture of their new cottage with the same frame as the old house. Jay, by then withdrawn and haunted, just stared. "It followed us," he whispered. But Mia smiled, softly. "No," she said. "It was always part of us." The house hadn't been built, it had been born, seeded into their family generations ago. Every wren carried a piece of it. The real horror wasn't that the house was alive. It was that they were, too, and they didn't know what part of them still belonged to it. Some nights, they dream of spiral staircases and mirrors that speak. Other nights, they swear the walls breathe. But they no longer run. They write down their memories, every day, like armor. They speak their past aloud, loud enough to drown out the whispering silence. Because in the end, the house only had power when you forgot who you were. And Mia would never forget again. Thanks for watching the story Nest. If this one gave you chills, drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe for more twisted tales that'll keep you up at night. Until next time, stay curious, and stay careful.